welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Manga Monday. Today I'm going to be reviewing Does a Hot Elf Live Next Door to You? Volume 3. Volume 3. Basically it's book 3. And yeah, I'm really digging this entire series. Like I want more. So by the time you see this, the fourth one will be out and I'm going to enjoy that one. And so far I'm really digging all of this and I love it. So I'm gonna start with, if you like this sort of content, if you love anime, you love manga, hit that like button, hit subscribe, follow, leave a comment, tell me which manga, it's been a long day, tell me which manga you think I should read next, and yeah, maybe I'll check it out. Now I will say this, I've been saying Surf's name wrong, it's Cert, so I apologize for that one. I only kind of noticed when I was writing this review, I was like, oh god. So if I refer to her as Surf, I'm very sorry, but it's definitely Cert. So let's jump into this one. The first thing that you see when this opens is the fact that Cert is taking Induru to meet her father, and you meet the maid Fafnir. I think that's how you say it. And I didn't realize what the major plan was, but you kind of see it at the same time where you know what's going on. So Cert has asked Induru, said his name wrong, I'm so sorry, but she's asked him to turn around and marry, like be her boyfriend or be her engagement, like a husband to be or something like that, because what's going on is that I think she needs to prove herself to her father to make her stay in the human world compared to returning back to the realm that she is and stuff like that, because she doesn't want to. She wants to stay, she wants to read manga, and obviously she wants to stay with Induru. For me, I generally thought that when reading this, I thought that the father would be very kind of domineering, like, you know, do not touch my daughter. But he's a spoilt brat, and I was just like, what? But he's that sort of person where he's like, no one's going to marry my beautiful daughter. And I think he fancies his daughter. I think that's the thing. It happens more commonly in manga and anime than around the world and type thing. But I feel like this was the main thing that was going on. And he was just like, I don't like it because you're a human and you're marrying her and I want to marry her. How dare you? So typical fashion, as soon as the chapter kind of ends, and I'm jumping near to the end because I'm in a train of thought. Near the end of this chapter, going into the next, the maid Fafnir turns around and tries to seduce him, as in Induru or Iduru. God, I'm so sorry with the name. I might just need to figure out his surname and just say that, or his first name. Either way, in this one, what happens is Induru doesn't really want to mate with this girl or doesn't want to be with her. You know, he's still very kind of what the fuck's going on, and he doesn't want to hurt Cert's feelings. And so obviously she tries to seduce him, but it looks like she's got dragon powers. She's got a big ass tail, which I generally kind of thought when I read it, I was like, what that would be like. Just generally came across my mind. I was like, all right, that is something right there. So yeah, it was kind of weird seeing that, but you kind of think that the father would have done that to make sure that the bond between him and Cert was more, and then the father's rule could come down if it was bad or something like that. So I found him a bit annoying because the father just generally annoyed me, because it was that typical, how do you say, it was that typical, like, you have to be the best to marry my daughter, otherwise it just doesn't work. And I just didn't really want to kind of carry on with this chapter, because I was like, this is typical, we've already seen it. So as Fafnir is cleaning Induru, oh god, I keep saying his name wrong, I don't know why. I'm going to call him In for this, it's probably a lot easier until I can actually look at his name properly. So Fafnir is turning around and washing In and washing his back, and then decides to go for his stomach instead, like his front part of his body. And he really likes it. He doesn't know how to kind of react. And I think that if anyone kind of did this, you'd be like, oh, that's actually quite nice. And then she says, look, I want to mate with you. And that kind of puts him off type thing, because he doesn't want to do it. He decides he isn't going to, only because he is in love with Cert and he doesn't want to kind of mess her up. And I think that if he did sleep with Fafnir, I think that that would be the worst thing in the world, because it would ruin a lot of stuff for him. And I was just like, I kind of guess where he's going for. But if Cert didn't really care, I probably would have gone straight for the maid, because she's kind of hot. But I think Cert would be more my type, or the succubus in all of them. I think he does get aroused, but obviously he says no, and Fafnir turns around and says, look, you passed the test. I didn't know that you would get aroused because of this. I think she doesn't really kind of feel it. But either way, Cert busts in, she sees it, and then Fafnir leaves and says, yeah, he passed the test. He didn't do this with me. So obviously he has feelings for someone else, and she's not going to pursue it even further, which I was like, do you know what? That's really nice. That's a really nice kind of way of doing it, saying like, hey, you didn't bone me. He obviously loves you. You get to see some backstory of Cert all the way through, and it's quite nice. Like, everyone, well, not nice. It's nice to see backstory, not nice what happens in the backstory. But in the backstory, it's mainly all about how she got bullied, how with her red hair, she's has the ability to use fire and no other magic, and people bullied her for that. So obviously I'm guessing she found manga and she loved the stories, and thus therefore went to the human world, and that was the main thing that was kind of going on, which I feel like is the best thing, because you get to see a bit more of Cert and how she is, and what she's like, and it kind of, you understand it a bit more. One of the main things in this is that Cert asks in to meet her or follow her up to the kind of the top of the building. It's her favorite spot in the entire place, and she says, look, hey, who do you like? Do you have feelings for me? Do you what are they? Tell me truthfully. And I didn't like In when he did this, because I felt like he knows the feelings, and I think it's the whole time of like, oh shit, do I say something? What the fuck do I say? Oh no, I'm not going to say this. And he kind of beats around the bush until the father and Fafnir jump in and kind of ruin the entire mood. And I feel like this could have been one of the best points of this manga, where he goes, yeah, I have feelings for you, and I want to be with you, and I want to see this, compared to be like, I'm not going to say anything. It generally irritates me. This is the reason why Parallel Paradise is a lot better in this thing, because at least the main character goes for him. Dear God. But yeah, I found like it was one of those things where it just annoyed me, where it was a crucial moment and the father just wanted to kind of ruin it. And even if he doesn't know that it's a farce, that it's not the best, at least he knows they're into each other and they're engaged, technically. But yeah, I just feel like this was a really bad point, and I think it really ruined it, because at this moment, even though we're really early in, I would have much preferred him to turn around and say, hey, yeah, I do like this, I do like you, I do fancy you, apart from, oh, I really like your red hair. What the fuck? Seriously, what the actual fuck? More of a thing, I don't know if this is a bit before it, where Cert turns around and says like, do you remember what you said to me? You like blondes? And he's like, no, I like all hairs. He's like, no, I remember you saying you like blondes only, type thing. I kind of feel like that could have been a thing where he's like, yeah, I've changed my mind now, but it just feels like it was a bit But in the end, you find out that Cert's father knows that they aren't engaged, but he wants him to be there to kind of do it. And I kind of like, do you know what? That's fine. Fafnir admits that she tried things, but nothing happened, and Cert gets annoyed, and that's it for that one. You mean move on to the next chapter. I'm reading my notes. The next chapter is a bit more interesting. I didn't expect this. I'm just wondering it is. So Artemis, yeah, okay, I know what it is. So Artemis arrives at the apartment to play a game, and In doesn't want to play it because he's late for school. So the as he's disappeared, the landlady brings the bento box and says, hey, could you take this to In school, where he would be able to eat his lunch? And she decides to. But as she kind of arrives at the school, you see In and what's her name? Inos. I think I got her name right. Holding hands, and it just sends her crazy that she emits an energy, and it changes everybody around to what I think their most inner desires are. Everyone goes crazy. Inos becomes like a mother and wants to look after In, but wants to breastfeed him all the way through, and is more like, oh hey, guess what? Like, you've got to drink mummy's milk and stuff like that. And it's more of a kind of a normal sexual thing that they put in. He freaks out because obviously he's not affected, but we see the puppy that obviously had the contract to make Inos turn into a magical girl, and I thought it was a boy. I didn't realize it was a girl. So it turns into a female, and it's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I said that I would get this Lucifer, and then she strips naked to the point where I think she wants to fuck him. Or he just literally strips naked and that's it. And he's like, oh God, no. He then finds Cert, who he admits to everything, going like, what the fuck's going on? Magic's been involved. And it feels like she's drunk, but I think it's gone to the point where she's got the mind of a young girl now or something, or that she's a lot younger in the head. And it causes a lot of hijinks. It causes some problems, and it made me laugh a lot. I think that because In has found Cert and decides to kind of like hide, Cert admits that she's got feelings for him, and he doesn't know how to take it, if it's the spell that's worked, that's affected all of them. But he can't really get through to Artemis, because effectively what's happened is that he's insulted her, and he's the only one that can stop this. And I think Cert does kind of talk to him about it and say, like, you know, you've done this and you need to fix this. And then obviously she's talked about feelings and stuff like that. Now, I thought this would carry on for such a long time, but they find out that if the energy kind of like carries on, it could affect other people, and that could make other people be dangerous or get hurt and stuff. So In turns around to Artemis and says, hey, I want to play video games with you. And she's like, okay. And then the magic stops, and that's it. And I was just like, oh, that's the thing right there. So with that, everything returns back to normal, and obviously Cert doesn't remember what she said to In, and that kind of will bring up something, because In remembers everything. So the last part of this is that they go to the beach, they start kind of swimming, and Cert, I thought literally when you see the cover, you think, damn, that's what she's wearing. No, Cert's just wearing a one-piece thingy, and that's it. And I was just like, oh God, like I could see why type thing. Everyone else is wearing bikinis. You have the dog, did I put a name? Which is Mephi. Mephi is now like, oh, hey, you don't know me. I'm this. And he's like, yeah, you're the dog. And he's like, oh, okay. So obviously he knows, and obviously Mephi didn't. So it kind of goes through, and I think it's Ineros asks him to go and talk, because I think she's going to like say that she's got feelings for In. But then a giant kraken comes out of nowhere and kind of like ties them up, and you know, he's a perv, and I'm just like, fucking hell, just comes out of nowhere. They have no way of doing it. Mephi is on the beach, so Innos can't turn around and transform into the magical girl, so she gets kind of played with for a bit until Cert comes along, cuts everything off, like the tentacles, and then the kraken or giant squid just kind of disappears, and that's it. And then they say like, hey, we've got calamari. And I was like, do you know what? I wouldn't mind trying some of calamari sometime. Hopefully one day I can. But we do get progress. We do get that Innos wants to tell In her feelings, because obviously that's the way it's going to go. You're going to have a kind of a balance between what's going on. So I generally was looking forward to seeing a bit more progress, and we got it. That was it. I generally think it was. The giant squid though, I think it would be interesting if she kissed Innos and Cert saw it and then starts a love triangle, or that Cert got there first and she just kissed him, and that was the main thing. And that's it, we finished volume 3. I really like this volume. I felt like there was a lot of progression with the characters. I wasn't too bored. Like, I read this all the way through with taking little bits of breaks at times, but I didn't feel I was bored like I was with volume 2. So kind of reading this, I generally thought, do you know what? This is something that I could do. Like seeing Cert and Indiro to get together. I want them to kind of do it, because I feel like their relationship has hit that point now where I'm okay with it. Where I think it's there, which would be really, really nice. But I don't know. I don't know when we're going to get that reveal. Hopefully volume 4 when it comes out. Hopefully by the time I've read it, by the time this video comes out. But that should be out, I think, in May time. So we've got, I think, roughly a month, or it could be in April. Either way, it's roughly a month away, which I'm not too kind of like fussed about. I would like kind of like to read it now, to be fair. The squid was a bit weird. The whole school thing, instantly not too bad. The art was absolutely perfect. I really like this. I'm looking at my notes to wrapping this up. And yeah, I don't think this is online anywhere, so I think this is just coming out normally, where most mangas are online so you can read the chapters. I've not been able to find it. If you find it, let me know down below in the comments. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one. I like the afterword. I felt like that was kind of cool. So that made me kind of think, and rather than final thoughts, I might use that now as afterword. or afterwards, because I like that. I think that's really cool. So yeah, it's worth picking up. It's definitely worth reading if you can. Definitely worth everything you can do. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. I will probably put it in the comments down below if you want to pick this up. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to leave it there. What are your thoughts? Are you reading this manga? Let me know down below in the comments. And if you like this sort of content and you want to hear and see more, hit that like button. If you love manga, subscribe. If you love anime, leave a comment and subscribe. And I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. And if I don't see you tomorrow, then I'll see you in a couple of days.
チャンネルをサポートしてくれてありがとうございます。チャンネル登録、高評価お願いします。以下のリンクから商品を入手することができます。